On.
Hi, good morning guys. I'm here with none other than Sandra Orlando Payne from Inhabitat Architects. Welcome Sandra.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So Sandra obviously is a very popular local architect and we are here on Hitesh's site in Windsor, and Sandra was the person who actually managed to get permitted development rights on the site. So we just wanted to share a bit of the background, a bit of the history. So Sandra, tell us about how you started off and what is the history behind the background behind the site.
Yeah. So Hitesh is a Titans member, and he was recommended to us by one of the members. And basically, he was in the process of purchasing this site that is a coach house in the center of Windsor town. And we started looking at options to converting it into either flats or a muse development for houses. So we went through an exercise of a space planning and looking at the permitted development rights, looking at whether it was possible to.
What's a coach house? Sorry.
So it's a coach house is a building that was used for the coaches to access through the through the opening straight from the road, and they would have parked in this area in the 1800s, and people would have been waiting there. So it's a historical building, but it's not a listed building.
Okay, but hang on. So that was back in the 1800s. What was it used for the last few years?
Well, more recently, it has gone through lots of transformation, and it was an office space for the NHS. So,
so NHS was selling it, presumably.
Presumably, or yeah. So it was, yeah.
Okay.
That was it.
So yeah, more to follow soon.
On.
Hi Sandra. So once you consider the space planning on this project, what were your options that you were considering for this property site?
So we looked at flats. So we looked at 5 one-bedroom flats, and then we looked at the muse development, three units, 3 houses. And the basis of the decision to go for the houses and not the flats was that we were losing a lot of area, circulation space. Getting to the flats, and they weren't working that well. And also that the back of this property hasn't got any windows, it's got just very small windows. So as houses, we could get over the issue of need for daylight. So basically 3 houses work beautifully.
Brilliant. And so I know that when you started the application, you had some challenges initially. Let's quickly first start off with, firstly, you managed to, so it's technically Class E.
Yes.
Office space, so it's Class E, and then Class MA, which was the Class E to permitted development rights, were applicable. So how did you then, what are the different criteria that you had to look into for the Class MA?
So for the Class MA, we had to look at 6 criteria. So one was not in flat plane, which we're not, a contamination. We had to look at issues to do with bin storage. No need to look at parking, so we don't need to look at that. We were looking at daylight issues and how that applied to a domestic conversion, and basically minimum room standards.
Space standards, yeah.
Space standards for an event. Okay. So those are the main issues that we have to do.
Right, and you had the tick for all of them, so you have no issues. You had to do a daylight and sunlight.
Yeah, we had to tick all the boxes and make sure that all that was applicable before we went in.
So in terms of surveys, sort of external surveys, what did you include? Was it just daylight and sunlight for external?
Yes, and also a survey, a topographic survey. Just the whole site had to be measured and the property itself.
Right. So that was the initial bit, and then you submitted the planning.
We submitted the
PD
planning,
rather.
a PD, yes, and we got refused on our first attempt.
Right.
So I can tell you more.
Tell us more in the next video.
In the next video.
Brilliant.